Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to this webinar on Remote DBA and Cloud DBA Service. My name is Violet Seah from Enterprise DB APJ Marketing. I will be your host today, and we are pleased that today we have Jamie Watt, VP Support Services, Kanchan Mohite, Director Cloud Services, and Dipanshu Sharma, Director Support Services, who will be the presenters for this webinar. Thank you, Jamie, Kanchan, and Dipanshu. Jamie and Kanchan are based in the US, so really appreciate their time to stay up late at night to deliver this webinar for us, as well as Dipanshu, who is based in India, and it's very early for him too. So thank you very much, all. And before we start, I just want to go through some simple housekeeping items. So please know that all the slides and recording for this webinar will be made available to you as soon as possible after this webinar. And if you do have a question, please submit it to the GoToWebinar question box. Please also note that we will be sharing information about EDB and Postgres later on in this webinar. So before we start, we do have a poll to get your opinions. So let me launch the poll now. Do share with us your answer. Okay. Please let us know, how do you power your Postgres databases today? Select one of these. Are you just getting started, or you have a DBA who handles overall database solutions, or you have a DBA dedicated to your Postgres databases, or you have a team of DBAs who are dedicated to Postgres, or you have DBAS platform for Postgres? Yeah, do let us know your answers. Okay, the 50% answering, let's wait a while more. Okay, it looks like the majority, okay, let's wait a little while more. Okay, it looks like the majority, close to 50%, say that they have, or that they are a DBA who handles the overall databases. And close to a quarter have a team of DBAs who are dedicated to Postgres. So yeah, here are the results then. So over to you then, Jamie.
Okay, thanks, Violet.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's time today. We're going to certainly do our best to get fairly through a thorough set of information, as well as discussion around what we can provide in terms of opportunity to further what you guys are here for. But in advance of that, one quick reminder: we do have a session for those of you who are either DBAs or part of a team of DBAs that are specific to Postgres. We have sessions that are hosted each week on Mondays. It is at 11 a.m. Eastern time, where that may be exceptionally early or a little bit late depending upon your time zone. We also have the prior sessions that are captured at our YouTube channel, as well as accessible via enterprisedb.com/postgres-pulse. There's also a series of blogs associated to that. The intent there is really just to get out into the community of Postgres users and provide help. There's no hitches associated to it. It's just our presence of leadership in the Postgres community overall, where we're trying to help assist for questions, challenges, and discussions. And as mentioned prior by Violet, as well as probably during the registration portion for all of you folks, we're here today to discuss both of our offerings when it comes to not just DBA services, but powering your Postgres solution with a team that is backed with a significant amount of experience as well as competency. That boils up to both remote DBA as well as cloud DBA. These are team services that are provided. They are formulaically around the clock, so 24/7, 365. It is a premium state of management where we've got teams that are actually in seat working across all shifts with an average experience range of 6 to 8 years in Postgres in and of itself, backed by a formidable process and overall structure that's been in place for more than a decade. It is timely. We are certainly within the range of affordability, and reliability is our key factor as we're intending to deliver both innovation as well as competency and adjoining operational capability to your teams. Over to you, Dipanshu, for the agenda.
Thank you, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the webinar. Through the course of the webinar, we would be highlighting the need of having a Postgres partner, as well as bringing to you the details about our remote DBA services and cloud DBA services. And as a part of it, what exactly we are offering it to, who is it for, and what is delivered. At the end of the session, we would also be having a short Q&A session. I would like you guys to be free to ask any questions which you think is appropriate. So one of the things that we have to start is with acknowledging the fact that adoption of Postgres is increasing. It has emerged as one of the leading open source RDBMS, and it has also been rated in the top 5 database engines by the company called Database Engine, and it has been growing, and it has become a choice of organizations who are planning to move to their open source world. Next slide, please. Whenever an organization decides to move to open source, they go through a certain stages. We have broadly classified them into 4 stages. Adoption. This is the time when you go ahead, talk to your buddies, do advocacy about adopting a new technology. You define the projects where you want to pick this up. You find the knowledge gaps. You perform training to fill up those knowledge gaps. You are going to be arranging for experts who are going to be helping you along, as well as you would be identifying the partners who are going to be working with you through the journey of your Postgres enterprise. Once you have done all the groundwork, you move ahead and start developing the product itself. You plan, you estimate your effort, you design, you develop, and you package. After everything is done, you move ahead for the final deployments. Here again, you would be assessing your needs, depending upon the kind of loads which you expect, talking to your partners, maybe if it's an in-house project, talking to your end customers, doing UAT all the time, identifying the infrastructure needs which you might be needing, as well as identifying the dependencies which you might be having, and you go ahead and do the final deployments. That is, there is still going through the motions of constantly monitoring what exactly you have deployed. You would be gathering the trends, and with the help of the trends, you would be planning for the future in terms of what kind of hardware you need. Are there any further optimizations which needs to be done? And you identify and resolve the threads which keep on appearing and rearing their heads more often than not. At any stage.
Sorry, go ahead.
At any stage in the which we are mentioning, you do need, or you can always use an expert who can let you know what are the better ways of achieving the goals which you want to do. Subscriptions can be a great way of doing that.
Now, some of you, as we heard in the poll at the onset of this, are already in a Postgres environment, potentially with EDB as your partner from a software perspective, or working to leverage the open source. And we're going to get a little bit into how the subscriptions play into how we're able to basically power and charge the cycles that we had discussed previously, not just with subscriptions, but with the services we're here to discuss today. But before we get into the services, let's get into the subscriptions themselves. Dipanshu, please go ahead.
Thank you, Jamie. I'll take over. So to meet the challenges which organization face during its journey from adoption which is the first phase, all the way through the maintenance or the steady state that we saw in the earlier slide. Enterprise DB created something called as EDB Postgres platform, which adds additional features, capabilities, and support around the PostgreSQL database. Enterprise DB platform basically includes the database itself as well as the tool suites. Database has two variants, the vanilla Postgres, and the second one is the EDB Advanced Server, which includes enterprise features, Oracle compatibility, and additional performance and security features on top of the vanilla Postgres. The tool suites encompasses mostly the management suite, the integration suite, and the migration suite. Tools for management mostly include mission critical tools for infrastructure monitoring, for tuning, for high availability and disaster recovery. Integration suite allows you to build across multiple data sources, including traditional DBMS, Hadoop, NoSQL, new data store, and also helps with the replication needs, be it single master replication or if you want a more advanced multi-master requirement in your use case. Last, the migration suite will help, will have the tools that will make it easy for you to move your schema as well as your data to the EDB Postgres platform. And most importantly, you will get technical support as part of the subscription, which would who would act more like a partner and give advisory anytime you're stuck, help you all the way through the journey, and also assist you with bug fixes if needed as part of the subscription itself.
But these are basically all tools that that go into your belt, right? They don't necessarily provide the knowledge or the experience that may require someone to get through the first few phases that we talked about earlier, right?
Right.
Okay, great.
So as we have been talking, subscriptions are great. They are a great thing to get you started on a journey. But as with every services, there are gaps which it needs to fill. Now, in subscription support, it is a reactive support by definition of it. You still need people on your side who are trained, who have enough knowledge to recognize the problem and actually report it to someone. You do get access to the tools, but you still need to know how to use those tools. You get access to the support, you get access to experts and staff to help you along with the Postgres problems which you might be facing. And this access is 24/7, but you still need to reach out to somebody when we are talking in terms of subscriptions. It is this gap that we are trying to fill up by our offering of remote DBA and cloud DBA services. This is a proactive support model where a user does not have to go ahead and be responsible for reporting an issue over and over again. The team is going to be acting as an extension of your existing DBA teams, where we will directly monitor and manage your databases and help you along in making sure that you get the optimal performance to it. We take care of the optimization needs of the and as well as inform you, work with you to update or upgrade your databases as the technology advances. This is a 24/7, so your servers are going to be looked at by a human 24/7 via alerting mechanisms as well as via monitoring. And we would also be creating regular reports, which are going to be helping you forecast your database needs as it goes along. And we will also be doing capacity planning with you. As shown in the figure, a bunch of circles. I'm sorry, I still couldn't figure out exactly what kind of Venn diagram it is. But anyway, as it shows that RDBA and the cloud DBA services sit on top of the subscription services. We are taking all the advantage of subscription services, and we are actually enrolling it and making it better by making it proactive. Jamie?
So it effectively allows you to build concentric layers of whether it be knowledge, experience, procedure, process, and just overall enterprise capability around what might be an existing DBA team that could be related to specifically Postgres today, or it might be spanning a number of databases, right? You could have a number of, let's say, a potpourri effectively of databases within your overall environment. And this allows an augmentation of that knowledge to step directly into a team that has over a decade of capability in delivering this 24/7, right?
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So what are the challenges that we have set out to address when we start thinking about the remote DBA services? There is a dearth of experienced PostgreSQL resources, and it is difficult for the customers to find them. And whenever organizations do find them, they turn out to be expensive, and it is a possibility that some of the organizations might not be able to, or might decide that they could not go for the best resource which money can buy, right? And it is also expensive it will be and time consuming for you to actually hire somebody and train him and make him an expert. It takes time. Moreover, the challenge which the organization face is because the experts might not be present at all time, scaling your Postgres activities or your Postgres deployments becomes a challenge. In remote DBA, we are offering you a pool of expert Postgres managers or DBAs who have more than a decade of experience in managing critical databases for Fortune 500 companies. We allow you and your DBAs to unburden yourself from the day-to-day maintenance of your databases, worrying about the updates, worrying about the upgrades, worrying about the daily performances, constantly looking at your monitoring charts. How is my CPU? How is everything else performing? We take care of all those things. We allow your DBAs to concentrate on developing their skills, and they can move on to helping you move your Postgres deployment further. And thus, in turn, helping your plans in growing and moving your organizations completely to Postgres. We go ahead, do all the activities like proactive maintenance, which to the monitoring, planning, implementation of planning, which we'll be covering in the next slide, to go ahead and reduce the downtime, and so that you are able to get the most out of Postgres. Because we are managing your databases end to end, ensuring that they are always optimized, that with the help of capacity planning as well, whenever the time comes to scale, we are ready and it can be done pretty easily.
So it's a near plug-and-play set of teams, or it's a near plug-and-play set of team resources that allow customers and Postgres operations, irrespective of where they are in their journey, to focus on what is most important to them from an application and solution perspective for their customers downstream, right? We're kind of allowing them to accelerate their overall goals within Postgres and within their database environment by bringing these teams in.
Right.
True. Great. Okay.
Looking at how remote DBA service tries to fill the gap for the challenges that organizations are facing, we would like to focus more on the service details here. As we previously called out, our remote DBA service has a global team of certified Postgres DBA resources monitoring and working with you for your database operations 24/7. In-house resources are actually freed up and can work and focus on strategic initiatives that you or your company can focus on now because of unburdening of the usual operational tasks. This actually, the total cost of the total management cost can be lowered, as remote DBA team would be an extension to the current staff. Our staff is based across the globe, and so we can offer truly follow the sun support model at scale for our customers based on their demands. The enterprise DB team includes leaders in Postgres community. We know Postgres inside out, and because we have contributed to the community, to the PostgreSQL community every year since the company was founded in 2006, and we continue to actively do so today as well. Keeping aside the expertise part of it, Remote DBA Service gives you the team who is very responsive and takes full accountability of the tasks that are being done. That we strive very hard to maintain the defined SLOs. Round-the-clock assurance and peace of mind is always there with Remote DBA team as your partner. Not only that, we follow all the best practice technology procedures. These are heavily ingrained in our work style. In addition, a technical lead is assigned to every Remote DBA account, which is the point of contact and a liaison between you and the team, and manages and coordinates all the operational activities that would be required. And due to all this activities taken care by the Remote DBA team, the customer may choose not to expand on hiring Postgres expertise and or spend on training extensively because the expert team is taking care of all this on the customer's behalf.
So when we talk about remote DBA services and we try to take an over, if I have to explain it to you in a minute, which I actually have, whenever we get engaged with a client, we go ahead, have extensive discussions with him about what his architecture is, what his applications are, what his needs are, what his problem areas are, whether it's pre-deployment, post-deployment. Once we have done everything and assess where the customer currently stands, where his deployment currently stands, we move over, take all this data and create a very comprehensive plan, which we review with the customer and realign it with his needs, with a complete understanding of where he wants to go in the future. And we created a complete plan, and we go ahead and start actually implementing it. While we are doing all of this, we are focusing completely on your needs, where you are, where you want to be, what your future plans are. And our complete intent and focus is to ensure that you get all your needs of your Postgres enterprise fulfilled.
Remote DBA service offers, as we are talking about it, the most comprehensive and proactive database management that would cover all these broader categories, which are integral part of our day-to-day activities, be it monitoring, be it performance tuning, be it capacity planning, maintenance activities, proactive intelligence. And I would like to spend some time on each of them, talking about it. So basically, monitoring is going to cover both OS as well as the database monitoring part of it. So it starts with CPU usage, memory usage, database uptimes, max connection to the databases, long-running queries, bloats, etc. And doesn't restrict to only this, but we go ahead and monitor the replication lag. In addition, we go and monitor the Postgres logs wherever it is needed, at what frequency the logs are needed to be monitored. That's being set accordingly. Any changes in configuration parameters or the config file itself, all these will be covered under the monitoring aspect of it. Maintenance activities, the Remote DBA team would suggest best practices around the database backup strategy, archive log backups, cadence of vacuum, retention policies, housekeeping items, in addition to all the above mentioned things. Again, not only this, but activities like backup. So we make sure that the backup validation happens at a cadence, so that when in case of any disaster recovery, we have a valid backup already available, and we can recover it and take it from there. Performance tuning would cover the query optimization suggestions and also the database optimization parameter tuning as well. Capacity planning would mostly focus on database growth, user growth, how the system can be running at optimal speed at all times. And last but not the least, the continuous monitoring and reporting on all the ongoing environment, health, and activities gives the user the proactive intelligence for your database at all times.
So really what we're looking to accomplish there is we're bringing our practice and our policies into each of our customers' environments to kind of couple with our ability to monitor, whether it be trends as they occur or forecast capacity issues as they may be trending, and identify problems potentially before they even become an issue to resolve, right?
Correct.
Great, thank you.
Just to re-emphasize what Jamie has been saying, let's try to oversimplify, or rather I would like to oversimplify the way we like to say it. When we get vested in your service, when we start working with you, we take a great pains to understand what you want to do. We try to understand where you need to go. We look and monitor your servers, and we notify the problems which you can face. We go ahead and start fixing the problems before the problems become roadblocks. By doing everything like monitoring, proactive assessments, going ahead and looking at your application states currently, doing capacity planning, looking at the trending data, the user deployments, doing backup validations, and a lot more activities which we could not cover in the slides. Otherwise, the presentation would be definitely more than 40 minutes long. We aim to lower the risk which you have inherent in your databases. With any deployment, any kind of databases by nature are pretty robust. However, any kind of misstep can lead to a problem. Say it just so happened that system went under load and nobody noticed. Those kind of we plan and we work very, very hard to eliminate those kind of things, thus lowering the risk to your deployments and your applications themselves. While we are doing this, we are very, very mindful about the company's security policies and compliances. We take all efforts to ensure that we do not pose any risk or violate any of your company's policies or compliance needs, so as to create a problem for you going forward. In a nutshell, Remote DBA has your back.
So just in summary, where we look at examples like that last one that you had mentioned, I guess some of the compliance scenarios or security requirements that we've seen imposed by our customers over the years have been inclusive of whether it be TrustArc or HIPAA or PCI, PII, PHI, and several other acronyms and initialisms that really boil down to ensuring that your data is protected as well as access to it, and the roles and responsibilities are clearly defined for team members where they are all contributing towards the solution that you deliver to your customer. This is something that we've got years of experience in, and we are certainly able to bring a solution to bear that addresses your problems. So rest easy when you're coming to us. It's something that we generally have experience with and experience across a number of customers doing so successfully. All right, thank you. Kanchan, over to you.
Thank you. So Cloud DBA, with the increasing adoption of cloud computing, mainly to reduce infrastructure cost, organizations of all sizes are making the move to the cloud platform. If your organization utilize cloud instances or you plan to move soon for cost efficiency, for elastic capacity, or for standardization purpose, we would like to point out that the cloud providers manage basic database administration, but often lack the in-depth Postgres expertise that we bring to the table. Through the Cloud DBA service, we are bringing our experience, our skills, our established service infrastructure to you as part of the service. This will provide you in-depth knowledge for specific or ongoing care and the tuning guidance for your Postgres database, which resides in cloud. So we saw what Remote DBA service basically is a great great fit for organizations running Postgres database in a self-managed environment, be it bare metal or VMware. The Cloud DBA offering that we are just going to talk about is for organizations who are planning to use basically Postgres in public cloud, be it on the Amazon VM or the EC2 VMs in AWS parlance, or it could be part of the managed service. Basically, with this Cloud DBA service, we will help you manage, monitor, and optimize your Postgres database in the cloud. As I said earlier, whether it is Postgres installed on a compute instance, like PostgreSQL deployed on an EC2 instance, as we call it on AWS, or it could be a Postgres deployment on an Azure VM. Or it could be part of managed services like RDS Postgres or Azure Postgres. Cloud DBA would be here for you for any operational engagements 24/7 that you may want the Cloud DBA team to be involved. And in addition, we would also be doing the proactive health scan, which would highlight areas of interest, areas of improvements basically in the database immediately.
And I think we've seen a growth in demand for this across both those who are going to a self-managed cloud compute environment, as there are a number of us across all of technology going to the cloud, whether it be Microsoft or AWS or Google or wherever it may be. But we've also seen a number of folks that have been going to a managed sort of solution, such as AWS RDS Postgres or Azure PostgreSQL. And there are challenges that do come with either transition to cloud or transition to cloud on a managed service that may or may not be aspects of the overall journey that each customer or each company going through that transformation is ready to take on or to bear the burden of themselves. However, we're going to get into a little bit more of what that looks like and how we help partner with each of our customers to power their efforts from a database perspective as we go through.
Right.
Over to you, Dipankar.
Thank you. All right. Running Postgres in the cloud is a great idea. It frees up your IT resources. It is IT centric. Your developers no longer have to wait for someone to create an instance for them. They can go ahead and create an instance. You can save costs by creating and destroying instances as you develop. Primarily, what you're looking at is improvement in productivity and administration of your resources. Typically, the organizations start off with a public cloud. They can, as their expertise advance and they think it is more beneficial, they can move on to private cloud. But right now, public cloud is the way to go. This has been proving a great platform for all the organizations who are either developing new applications or actually are scaling up their existing applications, and they find it easier to go ahead and do it in the cloud. There are certain set of disadvantages which we have with that. That's whenever you are out shopping for a machine or for an instance in the cloud to hold your database, you are only shopping for the machine. You do not have a choice of what kind of database you would be running. You would just be given a standard box with specifications about memory, IOPS, and network speeds, and those kind of information. But you would not be given a choice of a database which is optimized for OLTP, a database which is optimized to be running as a data warehouse. Though data is data, we all know that the way the data is handled in OLTP is very different from the way the data is being handled when it is being stored in a data warehouse. The problem becomes even more evident when we start to realize that it is the onus on the user to go ahead and optimize these environments to suit his needs. It does not include support for optimization of your queries, which is a big part of your business and the applications which you are going to be running. If you just have a database, you just have a standard deployment model in terms of the parameters which are there, there is a possibility that other part of your application or the business logic will need help to improve its performance and give you the same kind of throughputs and control which it used to give you when you were on-prem. It also does not eliminate the need for you and your team, your company, to stop investing on trainings or having the needs of in-house Postgres experts. And that is a challenge in itself. That is where we are coming in with Cloud DBA. Kanjan.
Right. So as we said earlier, Team Cloud DBA will always have your back if you decide to go ahead with the Cloud DBA service that we're talking about. These experts are not only the Postgres experts, but they are cloud certified Postgres expert. They know Postgres very well, but in addition to that, they have proficiency in the cloud infrastructure too. So Cloud DBA team will help you with tuning the deployments, as Dipanshu was talking about the different workloads early on the earlier slide. So tuning the deployments would be taken care by the Cloud DBA team, and which you may already, which would be a new deployment or which would be an existing deployment you may already have in any of the cloud platform. They would help you not only with the Postgres specific maintenance strategy that would be required, in addition to the standard provider practices that come as part of the managed service, something where RDS takes care of it. Query tuning advisory is included. You may face any issues with your query. Cloud DBA team will help you take a look at it, capture it, and provide inputs how it can be further improved and make it more performant. Thus, you don't have to be a Postgres expert, which automatically eliminate the training needs that we were talking about. So in basically Cloud DBA or Remote DBA team will always have your back. Getting started with any of the service is very easy. It mainly involves 3 steps as outlined here: planning, communication cadence, and the technical need. Mostly the team would get together with the customer to know about the needs, goals, and objectives that would be agreed on and adhered to. Once that is locked in, there is a communication channel which is put in place, which is conducive to your needs, and then just move on to create a secure infrastructure, which is again in compliance to the customer organization standards, and then get detailed insight on the architecture and the business process of the customer, so that the Remote DBA team or the Cloud DBA team exactly understands how the data flow happens, what are the business processes, and take it from there. So pretty straightforward. Getting started is a breeze. Remote DBA service basically delivers round-the-clock assurance and complete peace of mind. We make sure that we are reachable at all times and from anywhere you prefer. You can log into the customer portal and open a case with us, or you can directly send us an email, which would automatically open a ticket for the team. Or for any urgent needs, just pick up the phone and you can call us anytime. It's our job to ensure that you won't have to, though.
And really, you don't have to worry about having basically a DBA pager going off at any point in time, unless it's us alerting an existing team to let them know that an issue is generally being resolved. given that we are 24/7, not just available, but also monitoring and executing against all of our customers' needs. We are continually engaged and continually addressing concerns without necessarily having to be advised of the concerns as they approach from the customer side. Oftentimes, it's a matter of us reaching out to our customers, letting the teams know that there was something that we observed, there's a trend, there's an alert, there's a threshold that might have been exceeded, and we're taking action on your behalf. So it truly is a proactive model that helps to bring forward a rather uncommon peace of mind in enterprise and high demand environments.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.
So let's talk about the economics or the value proposition part of it. Specifically during the current difficult economic situations we all are going through, it demands that everybody takes a hard look at all possible areas of saving. Having the remote DBA service will allow your company to accelerate not only the Postgres deployment, but reduce the risk, drive faster growth, and most importantly, save a lot of money. And who doesn't like that?
Okay, so saving money is always on top of the mind, but there are direct and indirect ways of saving money. The way you benefit from it, or the way you do save money by using our DBA services, is mainly via allowing your local DBAs or the DBAs which are in-house to you to start contributing to the next deployments of Postgres which you're going to be making. They become an active member of your DevOps, allowing you to move to a truly DevOps instead of them worrying about how your databases is functioning today. Management and upkeep of all your databases or of all your Postgres data deployments is being done by the remote DBA services. You do not have to buy any new tools to start monitoring. Remote DBA has that covered. We do the monitoring. We have the tools for it. You don't have to invest in any further in it. We constantly do the sanity of the architecture. We make sure with the hardware which you have, it is always running optimally. We ensure that you get the most out of it, and you're not underutilizing the resources which you have. And one of the things which we achieve via planning and working throughout with you closely is we reduce the deployment times. So whenever you plan to expand, the time which you take from planning to implementation is drastically cut down. Indirect savings, well, another word for it would be like, how do I make more of the money? We are allowing your businesses to run longer by reducing the downtimes or the maintenance windows which might be required for your databases. More application uptime, more business you do, more money you make. We allow you to have an optimized database, which basically gives you an opportunity of rolling out new features in your application in and out through the lifespan of your whole project. You would not have to wait. Sorry, Jamie, go ahead.
I was just going to note, so basically a lot of the indirect savings boil down to by providing the confidence and the ability to draw assumption that your databases are going to stay in continual operation, it allows the customer to effectively spend that time, effort, concern, and in some cases funding elsewhere, right?
Yeah, that adds to the indirect savings that we're talking about. Exactly.
Right. Just to a fun thing which also happens is you get to add new features really quickly, right? So more features you have, that gives you an opportunity to beat your competitors at their own game and always be a step ahead.
Nice. So you don't have to take a word for the success and the value that remote DBA service brings to the table. From the various regular surveys and reviews we do in our customer base, here are our few named customers and organizations who are very happy with the decision they have made going ahead with the remote DBA service and are reaping the benefits of it. Here, Adam Bunch, an engineering manager and a system architect from Konica Minolta, who rightly points out the peace of mind that he got is priceless, and with the remote DBA service that gives him, and also vouch for the experience and expertise that the remote DBA service brings to the table. This has allowed him to be assured, at least from the database side of his operations, and he can sleep easy now, and not be concerned about any of his databases going down, with remote DBA team in charge of all the databases.
This is one of my favorites, actually. It is not because it's said something good about my company, my team, and our services that we offer, but it actually summarizes exactly what we do very well. Michelle Baker at State of Indiana, who has been kind enough to be working with us for a pretty long time, states, and I'm going to quote directly: "Our 24/7 support contract with Enterprise DBA is important to complement to our on-site team. With clearly established parameters, EDB is able to respond to issues quickly and bring recommendations to us that minimize downtime. The weekly status checks and quarterly backup integrity checks provide peace of mind as a part of our disaster recovery planning. Working with EDB has been a great learning experience for our team." Now, this is exactly what we set out to do. And perhaps one of the things which we were not highlighting enough is do backup validations. So thanks, Mitch, again for putting this together. He's not on the call, but yeah, I hope he can hear the recordings. But the good thing about us is we are not scared of becoming a part of your team. We are not there just to manage your database. We are there to collaborate with your DBAs, be an extension of your DBAs, of your DBA team, and we are ready to, at any given point in time, to share our knowledge with your teams. We want to grow, but we want to grow with you. We are not for holding knowledge. We are for spreading knowledge, and that is what EDB has been doing for quite a long time now.
Thank you, Dipanshu. Over to you, Jamie.
Thank you, Carson. So we've kind of summarized across the team functions within Remote DBA, how we help to provide a world-class service. Of course, underpinning that is generally the software subscriptions that allow for tools that can tail into whether it be HA, backup and recovery, replication strategies, monitoring, etc. We're bringing innovation both to the community as well as our tool sets to allow for a continually accelerating capability of Postgres in an ever-changing database landscape. Our professional services augment our products as well as our managed service capability to allow customers and potential customers to get from the notion of Postgres at the inception of the idea to a full-blown scale of, in some cases, up to thousands of instances and thousands of ultimate compute landscapes where they're deployed. The security and performance that we bring about in the form of advanced server, as well as our service within Remote DBA, are certainly unparalleled in the industry at this point in time. And we're continually contributing not just to our products, but also the Postgres community at scale. All of this is underpinned by a 24/7 support model. And that is something that is relevant both to our subscriptions as well as Remote DBA in two different fashions. However, it allows our customers, irrespective of time zone, irrespective of day of the week, to execute against their business requirements. Next slide, please. And for 7 years in a row, we've been recognized on Gartner's Magic Quadrant. We are the only open source based RDBMS in the Gartner Magic Quadrant at this point in time, which is of course no small feat. As you can see from the other cohort, which is listed on the existing Magic Quadrant, we are certainly in good company where we continue to execute both on capability as well as stability and advancement into a very large enterprise space amongst databases. Now, as we mentioned, we are no strangers to whether it be the Fortune 500 or the Global 2000. You can see here a spread of a number of our customers, both within the US as well as EMEA, and of course, APJ as we're focused on here. Some of those include Hyundai, Alibaba, DBS, KT, SoftBank, Samsung, DHL, and many, many more. Where you look at some that are perhaps multinational conglomerates, we see entities such as MasterCard, such as Ericsson, Vodafone, Sony. We have customers that run the gamut. As you can see, 102 of the Fortune 500 are currently EDB customers, and over 330 of them within the Forbes Global 2000 are also EDB customers. That number is continually growing as we are spreading further and further into the enterprise space at a rate which is certainly at clip with what you see Postgres and its overall penetration into the database space, as we referred to earlier. Now, of course, we're not going to just note that we have a number of contributors or we have a number of committers. We wanted to kind of put that out there in front of the entire audience here to really show what sort of scale we're bringing to the Postgres community. We have 2 of the 5 global core members with Bruce Momgen, one of the founders of Postgres, as well as Dave Page, who is the overall architect over the PG admin project, as well as a VP within Enterprise DB associated to Postgres Enterprise Manager, Enterprise Failover Manager, and a number of other tools. Within the major contributors, we contain Robert Haas, Amit Kapila, Devram Gundas, and then we have a number of contributors also providing oversight to a number of the projects that are either adjacent to Postgres and things like PG Pool or PG Bouncer, or within the Postgres core code itself. All in all, we're looking at a team of over 13 resources that are making material differences within the Postgres sphere on a daily basis. One thing we'd like to note, as we mentioned at the onset of the webinar, in parallel with the Postgres Pulse efforts, there is the Ask the Experts initiative that we've taken up. As you can see in red here, it is screamingly for free. Our intent is to deliver reliable professional advice from some of the world's most knowledgeable Postgres folks. You can send in 3 questions specific to you, your organization, or some of the challenges you might be experiencing currently. And some of our Postgres experts will take the time to answer your questions and respond to you personally. You can send those requests into ABM request at enterprisedb.com. One final note, we've got Postgres Vision this year. As many other conferences are taking place virtually, ours is as well. The registration is available for free and will be conducted on June 23rd and 24th of this year. The APJ track with APJ customer speakers will be in time zones that are friendly to you and each of your regional needs. Attend from the comfort of your home. We're going to be addressing how organizations are continuing to proliferate their use of Postgres. I'm sorry, can we roll back one second? Looks like we might have
yeah,
as well as the tools of Postgres that folks are using both within the community as well as within our own portfolio, how developers are using the databases, and of course the future of Postgres, where it's relevant to just the core, where it's relevant to our tools, and what we see in our journey with our customers and the overall community. Okay.
thank you, Jamie. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to look for the question, so sorry. Yeah. Violet, you want to
Sure.
let us know the questions and we can take it from there?
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much, Jamie, Kanchan, and Deepanshu. We do have a few questions. The first one is, what is the SLA for remote DBA? Also, how would this affect RTO and RPO?
Great questions. So the SLOs associated to remote DBA are readily available for folks. I'm not going to trail on too long here outlining those, but we do provide SLOs that are associated to Severity 1, Severity 2, and Severity 3. We also provide SLOs associated to response times within 15 minutes of a communication sent to the team members. And remember, that can actually be achieved by way of email, by way of phone, and in some cases by way of federation with tools such as Slack. On the RTO and RPO side, we look to determine what the customer's needs are and then tailor how we configure the database to meet those needs. Some examples of that might be what the requirements are around from a recovery point objective perspective, whether or not a cadence of checkpoints is frequent enough such that it allows for a very minimal window of recovery, but not so frequent that it's affecting the performance of the operation. Recovery time, again, that's something that we look at that's somewhat custom or at least somewhat personalized to each deployment, where some customers may be making use of whether it be synchronous or asynchronous replication, and whether or not there's potentially cascading members from a standby perspective to allow for further redundancy where you may see, let's say, delayed replicas. So all of that is part of the overall offer that we present to our customers, and we are certainly detailed and fervent when we get into each of these opportunities. So whenever you have any of those questions, bring those to us and we'll walk you through what looks to be the best solution we can provide for your needs.
Thank you very much, Jamie. I think we only have time for perhaps only one more question. And this is remote DBA restricted to ePass, or is it available for community Postgres too?
It's actually available for either ePass or Postgres from the community perspective as well. And as noted prior, with Cloud DBA, we will also deploy our services against both Azure PostgreSQL as well as AWS RDS Postgres, which are close to but not necessarily exact mirrors of the community Postgres capabilities.
Thank you, Jamie. Actually, there's one more question. Maybe we'll just go for it, then
Sure.
we'll close. This is remote DBA service available only for people? Is remote DBA service available for people who do not have EDB subscription?
No, we do not require that people have a subscription. However, as you saw in that wonderful concentric diagram or image that was presented earlier in the webinar, the best solution for a full enterprise or full demand of production needs is generally to join both the power of subscriptions and the software itself with what we're delivering from a team operations value within Remote DBA as well. But it is not required to have subscriptions in order to obtain our services for Remote DBA.
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is all we have time for today, but not to worry. The slides and the recording for this webinar will be sent to everyone who have registered and who have attended. And also the answers to the questions will also be posted on the site. So thank you everyone for your time. And we hope to see you at our future webinar series. Also, please remember to sign up for the Postgres Vision, especially where there is an APJ track on the 24th of June, starting at 11 a.m. Singapore time. So we really look forward to seeing all of you again, whether it's PG Vision or at our next APJ webinar series. So once again, thank you very much, and thank you, Jamie, Kanchan, and Dipanshu. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you, Kanchan. Thanks, Dipanshu.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Jamie. Bye-bye.
Bye.